Stop scrolling. What I'm about to show you will change everything you thought you knew about human history. This artwork is over 10,000 years old. It was created by people who shouldn't have known what they were painting. And yet, there it is. Clear, undeniable, impossible. In my last video, we explored the Antikythera mechanism, a 2,000-year-old computer that shouldn't exist. A device so advanced, it took humanity another 1,500 years to create anything comparable. But that mechanism, that's just a whisper compared to what we're about to uncover. Because scattered across our planet, hidden in caves, carved into cliff sides, and buried beneath desert sands, there exists artwork that tells a story our textbooks refuse to acknowledge. Art that depicts beings, technologies, and knowledge that primitive hunter-gatherers simply could not possess. This is the story of the 10,000-year-old art that proves ancient visitors existed. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why mainstream archaeology is terrified of what it reveals. Our story begins in 1933 in one of the most inhospitable places on Earth, the Tassili-Niger Plateau in the Sahara Desert. French explorer Henri Lode arrived here searching for prehistoric art. What he found would haunt him for the rest of his life. Deep within these caves, protected from wind and sand for millennia, Lode discovered over 15,000 paintings and engravings. But it wasn't the quantity that shocked him. It was what they depicted. He called this figure the Great Martian God, a being nearly 20 feet tall, wearing what appears unmistakably to be a helmet or dome over its head. No facial features, no human characteristics, just a smooth, rounded head with antennae-like protrusions. And it wasn't alone. Surrounding this giant were dozens of other figures, smaller beings with the same helmeted appearance. Some holding objects that looked disturbingly like weapons or tools. Others standing in formations, as if organized, as if military. But here's what's truly unsettling. These paintings were created between 10,000 and 12,000 years ago, a time when humans were supposedly living in small tribes, hunting with stone-tipped spears, and had never seen anything more technologically advanced than fire. So why would they paint beings in helmets? In what appears to be protective suits? Why would they depict technology they'd never encountered? And why would the exact same imagery appear 7,000 miles away in Australia? The Wandjina, ancient Aboriginal rock paintings scattered across the Kimberley region. Figures with large, round heads, no mouths, eyes that seem to stare into your soul, and halos of light surrounding their heads. The Aboriginal people have stories about these beings. They call them the sky spirits who came during the Dreamtime, the creation period. Beings who brought laws, knowledge, and then left, promising to return one day. Two cultures, separated by an ocean. No contact between them for tens of thousands of years. And yet, they painted the same beings. The same impossible beings. But it doesn't stop there. Because once you know what to look for, you start seeing them everywhere. Valcamonica, Italy. Over 200,000 petroglyphs carved into rock faces over thousands of years. And among them, these figures. Beings with rectangular helmets. Geometric patterns surrounding their heads like radiation or energy fields. Some holding objects that look disturbingly similar to modern tools. Look at this one. A figure pointing something at an animal. The animal is drawn falling or dead. What is that object? A spear would be shown differently. Spears appear in hundreds of other petroglyphs. This is something else. Something that acts at a distance. Peru. The Nazca lines. Massive geoglyphs carved into the desert floor so large, they can only be properly seen from the air. And carved among the animals and geometric shapes is this. The astronaut of Nazca. A humanoid figure with a rectangular head, arm raised in what could be a wave or a gesture, wearing what appears to be a suit of some kind. The Nazca people created this between 200 BCE and 500 CE. But here's the question that nobody wants to answer. How did they design something that can only be fully appreciated from an altitude humans wouldn't achieve for another 1,500 years? Unless they were copying something they'd seen. Someone who could see from that height. India. The ancient Sanskrit texts called the Vedas speak of flying machines called vimanas. They describe them in technical detail, their construction, their power sources, even their weaponry. And carved into temples across India are these images. Craft with occupants inside, flying through the sky, engaging in aerial battles. The Vaimanika Shastra, an ancient text, describes these craft with stunning precision. The pilot's seat, the engine, the fuel tank, the navigation systems. One passage describes a pilot's uniform made of special material that protects against heat and cold. A spacesuit, protective gear for high-altitude flight, written and carved thousands of years before humanity would need such things. Do you see the pattern forming? Across continents, across cultures that never made contact. The same story, the same beings, the same technology. Either the greatest coincidence in human history occurred, or ancient humanity witnessed something they tried desperately to record, to remember, to warn us about. Remember the Antikythera mechanism? That impossible device we discussed in my previous video? A computer from 2,000 years ago that predicted astronomical events with uncanny accuracy? When archaeologists first discovered it, they couldn't believe what they were seeing. The technology was too advanced, the knowledge too sophisticated. It broke every rule about what ancient people supposedly knew. It calculated the positions of the sun, moon, and planets. It predicted eclipses. It tracked the Olympic Games cycle. It represented a level of astronomical understanding that shouldn't have existed for over a millennium. But what if the Antikythera mechanism wasn't an anomaly? What if it was a remnant? A copy of something seen? A desperate attempt to recreate technology from visitors? Because when we look at ancient astronomical knowledge, we find impossibilities everywhere. The Dogon people of Mali have known about Sirius B, a white dwarf star invisible to the naked eye, for centuries. They've drawn it in their artwork. They've incorporated it into their religious ceremonies. Sirius B wasn't discovered by modern astronomy until 1862, and it wasn't photographed until 1970. So how did the Dogon know? They say the knowledge came from the Namo, amphibious beings who descended from the sky and taught them about the cosmos. The Sumerians, one of humanity's first civilizations, had star maps showing our solar system with remarkable accuracy. They knew about Uranus and Neptune, planets not discovered by modern science until the 1700s and 1800s. This cylinder seal, created over 4,000 years ago, shows a central sun with planets in orbit. The correct number of planets, the correct relative sizes. But look here, between Mars and Jupiter, there's an additional planet. The Sumerians called it Nibiru. Modern astronomy shows evidence of a massive planetary collision in that exact location billions of years ago, creating the asteroid belt. How could the Sumerians know about an event that occurred billions of years before humans existed? Unless someone who had seen it told them. The Great Pyramid of Giza, built with such precision that its four sides align almost perfectly with true north, south, east, and west. The margin of error? 3/60ths of a single degree. Its dimensions encode the mathematical constant pi, the golden ratio, and the speed of light. Its internal chambers align perfectly with stars in Orion's belt as they appeared in 10,500 BCE. This isn't primitive construction. This is advanced astronomical knowledge embedded in 2 million stone blocks, some weighing over 70 tons. The official explanation? Copper tools, wooden rollers, and thousands of workers over 20 years. But here's what they don't tell you. We couldn't replicate this today. Not with the precision they achieved. Not with the tools they supposedly had. Modern laser analysis shows the blocks fit together so perfectly, you can't slide a piece of paper between them. Some blocks are cut at angles that would require computer-guided machinery to achieve. And in the temple of Seti I at Abydos, there are these hieroglyphs. Objects that look disturbingly like helicopters, submarines, and aircraft. Skeptics say it's pareidolia, seeing patterns where none exist. Or palimpsest, older carvings worn down and overlapped. But when analyzed, each vehicle shows consistent design elements. Rotors, bodies, tail sections. Multiple identical symbols appearing in a row, suggesting these weren't random patterns, but deliberate depictions of real objects. Now we enter dangerous territory, because what I'm about to show you are artifacts that mainstream archaeology refuses to acknowledge. Objects that shouldn't exist. Evidence that's been dismissed, hidden, or explained away. The Baghdad batteries. Clay jars discovered near Baghdad in 1936, dating to around 250 BCE. Inside each jar, a copper cylinder containing an iron rod, sealed with asphalt. When scientists replicated these devices and filled them with acidic liquid, like wine or vinegar, They produced electrical current. These are batteries. Functioning batteries from 2,000 years ago. And at the Dendera Temple complex in Egypt, there are carvings that look remarkably like electric light bulbs, complete with power cables, lamp sockets, and what appears to be a snake-like filament inside. The official explanation? These are lotus flowers being born from the primordial waters. But when electrical engineers analyze these carvings, they see something else. They see Crookes tubes, the precursor to modern light bulbs. The Piri Reis map, drawn in 1513 by Ottoman Admiral Piri Reis. It shows the coastline of Antarctica, in accurate detail, with no ice. Here's the problem. Antarctica wasn't officially discovered until 1820, and it's been covered in ice for millions of years. So how did a map from 1513 show the coastline beneath the ice? Piri Reis wrote that he based his map on older sources, ancient maps that no longer exist, maps that showed the world as it was before the ice. Who made those original maps? Who surveyed Antarctica before the ice? And what happened to that civilization? In 1960, the U.S. Air Force compared the Piri Reis map to seismic data of Antarctica's subsurface coastline. The match was remarkable. The map showed features that shouldn't have been visible for millions of years. Göbekli Tepe, Turkey. Discovered in 1994, it rewrote human history overnight. These megalithic structures date to 11,600 years ago, built by hunter-gatherers who supposedly had no permanent settlements, no agriculture, and no architectural knowledge. Yet here are massive stone pillars, some weighing 20 tons, carved with sophisticated artwork depicting animals, geometric symbols, and humanoid figures with strange proportions. The site shows evidence of advanced astronomical knowledge. The pillars align with specific stars and constellations. The layout follows mathematical principles. This pillar, called the Vulture Stone, may be the world's oldest astronomical record. Some researchers believe it depicts a comet impact that occurred around 10,950 BCE, an event that would have caused global catastrophe. But here's what's truly bizarre. Shortly after Göbekli Tepe was built, it was deliberately buried, filled in with rubble and sealed, as if the builders wanted to preserve it for future generations. Or hide it from something. What were they protecting? Or what were they hiding from? Let's connect everything we've seen. The art, the technology, the knowledge, the impossible artifacts scattered across time and space. What if, and follow me here, what if humanity didn't develop alone? What if, approximately 12,000 years ago, at the end of the last ice age, something happened? Something that's been recorded in mythology as the Great Flood, the Deluge, the end of the Dreamtime. Over 200 cultures around the world have flood myths. Stories of water covering the earth, of humanity nearly perishing, of gods or visitors who warned certain people to prepare. Science confirms that around 11,600 years ago, sea levels rose catastrophically. Over 400 feet of ocean level increase. Coastlines that had been inhabited for thousands of years disappeared beneath the waves. And now we're finding ruins underwater. Structures that suggest advanced civilizations existed before the flood. Civilizations that had contact with something. What if those beings in the ancient art weren't imaginary? What if they were real? Visitors who arrived during a critical moment in human development. Imagine you're a human 12,000 years ago. Your world is simple. Stone tools, animal skins, fire. Then you encounter beings with technology, with knowledge, with power you cannot comprehend. You would try to record it, to preserve it. You would paint them on your cave walls. You would tell stories to your children. You would build monuments to remember. And maybe, just maybe, you would try to recreate their technology. Like the Antikythera mechanism, a desperate attempt to replicate something witnessed. A cargo cult artifact made by people trying to copy what they'd seen but didn't fully understand. The helmeted figures of Africa, the Wandjina of Australia, the Vimanas of India, the sky gods of every ancient culture. They're all describing the same thing, the same event, the same visitors. And here's the truly unsettling part. If they came once, they could come again. Cultures around the world speak of the return. The Aboriginal people say the Wandjina will come back. The Hopi speak of the return of the Sky People. The Maya calculated a date for the return of Kukulkan. And in the past 80 years, sightings of unidentified aerial phenomena have exploded. Objects performing maneuvers that defy our understanding of physics. technology that mirrors what the ancients described. Even governments are now admitting these objects are real, that they don't know what they are, that they've been seeing them for decades. Is it possible that what's happening now is what happened before? That we're experiencing a cycle? A pattern of contact that spans thousands of years? So here we are, back where we started, looking at 10,000-year-old art that depicts something impossible, something that challenges everything we think we know about human history. Mainstream archaeology tells us these are myths, imaginations of primitive minds, misidentifications of natural phenomena. But if that's true, why is the pattern so consistent? Why does every culture, independently, describe the same beings, the same technology, the same knowledge? Like the Antikythera mechanism proved that ancient people had knowledge we didn't think possible. Maybe this art proves they had contact we don't want to acknowledge. The universe is 13.8 billion years old. Our galaxy contains over 100 billion stars. Humanity has existed for a cosmic eye blink. The idea that we're alone, that we've always been alone, that no one has ever visited this tiny blood, that's the real fantasy. The art is there. The evidence exists. The pattern is undeniable. The only question is, are we brave enough to accept what it's telling us? Ancient visitors existed. They left their mark. They taught our ancestors. They may have shaped the course of human civilization itself. And perhaps, right now, they're watching to see if we're ready to remember, if we're ready to acknowledge what our ancestors knew. The 10,000-year-old art doesn't lie. It's been waiting all this time for us to finally understand what it's showing us. The visitors were here. The question isn't if. The question is when will they return? And what will they think of what we've become? If the Antikythera mechanism taught us anything, it's that our ancestors were far more advanced than we give them credit for. Maybe it's time we start listening to what they tried so desperately to tell us. Click on the video icon that appears at the end for a deep dive into the impossible mystery that is the Antikythera mechanism. Subscribe and hit the notification bell for more journeys into the past together. And as always, stay curious.